What are we voting on? This is the ballot proposal. If you've gotten your absentee ballot, you've seen it already. If you haven't, this is what's coming. But here's what we're being asked to decide. We're being asked to decide if we should hold a particular piece of public land, in this case, the city block that we're sitting on right now, in perpetuity, to be designated as an urban park and civic center commons. So those are the three things that we're being asked to decide. Should it be public land? Should it be perpetuity? And should that definition be urban park and civic center commons? And at the end, we'll get a little bit more into what this means. But at its heart, this is what we're voting on. What we're not voting on is the proposal. We're not voting on how tall it is. We're not voting on whether the plaza has a splash pad. We're not voting on whether we think it's ugly or gorgeous or exactly what Ann Arbor needs. That's not the decision. We're voting on the ballot proposal of should the public land stay public in perpetuity. And the only thing that we can do with it is develop it as an urban park and a civic center commons. Now, an urban park is fairly well understood. A civic center commons is not, and unfortunately this would be a really easy mechanism as future developments are proposed for this site to be able to say, well, this doesn't match my definition of a civic center commons, so I don't want to see us move forward with it. And so we may go for another 81 years and not see anything happen on this site because it's so much easier to get to a no in development than it is for us to get to a yes. But I think the biggest problem with the proposal is that in the decade and a half that we've been talking about this process and this site, no major community partners and no major community donors have been identified as wanting to move forward with this as part of the process. Whereas in the decade and a half that I mentioned, there were a lot of alternatives suggested, and I'll get to that in a moment. So if I were to say, how should you vote on this? I would ask you to find the values that matter to you and vote on your values. So if you care about due process, City Council already voted to sell this land. The mayor supports a no vote on this proposal. If you care about fiscal responsibility, we're foregoing so much money in terms of taxes by foregoing private development. If you care about parks and open space, you care about the fact that the Parks Advisory Committee said, please don't give this to us without a plan and a fund. If you care about affordability, you care about the fact that we do not have another way to secure this $5 million for the most sensitive and insecure, housing insecure people in our community. And if you care about what the experts have to say, urban planners and architects have been weighing in again and again on why they are not in favor of Proposal A. The neighbors to this site, the owners of Chela's, are excited for a new development on this site. The Ann Arbor District Library Board has stated a proposal resolving no support for Proposal A. And most importantly, Ann Arbor itself has said that they're not interested. So in that 2013 Parks Advisory Committee survey, what Ann Arbor said overwhelmingly is A, so we're most of the pie here. Most of the pie said, yes, we want public space, we want more open space in downtown Ann Arbor. Most of the people said, no, we do not want public funds to pay for it. And most of the people said, yes, we do want a public-private partnership that would help us, allow us to accomplish all of the goals that we want to for our downtown without it having to come out of the pocket of every one of us taxpayers.